Hello, welcome to Lex V Designs. I'm so happy to see you. I'm happy that you are part of my journey. And today, without wasting so much time, we're going to be talking briefly on essential tips for beginners. Okay, now, what as a beginner, what should be in your mindset? What should be your plan? First thing that you should have in mind as a beginner is preparation. You're supposed to prepare your mind, prepare yourself. Preparation is the key for everything in life. And now, as a beginner, someone that wants to go into the fashion line, that wants to go into sewing as a whole, what should we be looking up to or looking forward from you? Okay, number one is preparation. Preparation is the key. You need to prepare your mindset, you need to prepare yourself financially because you're going to invest in a lot of things. I wouldn't want to come and minimize words for you. I wouldn't want to come and lie to you. I will tell you that you're going to invest in a lot of things for you to be successful in this business. So you're going to invest in buying sewing machines, you're going to buy scissors, you're going to buy tape, measuring tapes, you're going to buy paper, brown paper, that's pattern paper. Okay, you're going to buy seam ripper, a lot of things. So you're going to be investing. Now, the secret is that you will not need to buy everything at once. Maybe small you get there. But as a beginner, we should look forward to your preparation because preparation is the key. You will read patterns, you go forward and look at patterns. You say, okay, is this how they cut it? Should I do it like this or should I do it like this? That should be all we should be expecting from you. And then you should watch online tutorials. On a video I had already made earlier, I have also said this. Apart from reading your patterns carefully, you should be able to understand the patterns, okay, and then watch tutorials online. Just like I mentioned in my former video down this channel, you see where I made reference to watching videos online. It's very important. Watch tutorials, not just videos. Go there, be impacted. Okay, so in preparations, I've already mentioned a lot of things under preparations. Now, what is the next thing that we're supposed to expect from you? Mastery. Machine mastery. It is important that you master your machine, okay, because a lot of times you're going to be encountering needle bending, thread cutting, material folding together. What should you do? You should master your machine. You should know what causes it and prevent it from happening. Unless you'll be just getting frequently frustrated. But when you have mastered your machine, you'll be able to limit or reduce these challenges. Okay, so it's quite important that you familiarize yourself with your machine, get to know your machine more. It's just like getting to know a human being more. Now you have to invest a lot of time to study your machine to know how it works. If I pedal front, should the material come out or should it go backward? Should I pedal backward? Just watch out to study the machine, know how you would best operate that machine. Okay. Practice straight sewing. Straight sewing is a very difficult thing that a lot of people tend to still struggle with. So you have to learn how to sew straight on a straight line, be able to make a straight sewing whenever you're so keep practicing how to sew straight, okay, and then watch how to put your needle. Okay, it's something that you're supposed to master. Know how to bend your needle, how to correct way to put your needle. Should it face that way, should it face the other way? You should learn how to work with your needle. So first you should be able to master your machine, learn how to sew on a straight line, work on your needle, and start with simple projects. You can even start with just sewing a pillowcase, start with sewing a scarf, just simple, those simple projects that you can just do. And this will help you when you have already, learned how to sew on a straight line. That's why it's important that after immediately you prepare yourself with your machines and the things necessary, your machine accessories, your sewing accessories, the next thing is that you should strive for machine mastery. You should learn how to master your machine, to maneuver your machine, to work with your machine. You can even, there is a way that you even, channel or work with this machine that you will have less stress on the machine. A lot of people, once they sit on their machine, they struggle with their machines for so long. You can even see a machine that is working now. Once a learner sits on it, the machine begins to develop a lot of problems. Why? Because the learner is still struggling with the machine. You're fighting with, it's just as if you're fighting with a robot. So you have to work with your machine. See that machine like a robot that understands you, and then be able to work with it. It will obey you when you master your machine, when you master the way your machine should operate. Now, what are the essential techniques? You should learn how to trade your machine, how to backstitch, okay, how to, I don't know, a lot of people call it double stitching, a lot of people call it just how to lock your seams. So you have to learn how to work with your machines, to work with, to be able to trade your machines carefully. And you should also just bear it in mind that sewing allowance is part of sewing. Master that one, because this seam, whether you're calling it seam allowance or sewing allowance, just know that it's part of sewing. So this is an essential technique that you're supposed to learn or have when you're sewing, so that when you make up your mind that whenever I cut a gown, I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches, or I'm going to leave about 1 inches for my sewing allowance, 1 inch for my sewing allowance rather, then you would, it becomes, you just become conversant with it. It becomes a habit. Okay, so let it be like a habit that you would know that seam allowance is something that you should work with every time that you have a scissors and a material on your table. The next point is that press your fabrics. If there's a way to lay emphasis on that, I'm going to be telling you. Anytime you are sewing, ensure that you press your fabric. Pressing your material, ironing it out, it makes your work look neater. Take time, even if you don't know what you're sewing, you're just starting with your pillowcase. But when you're done sewing it, you press it out, everything looks so fine and shiny. You even become impressed in yourself. You are impressing yourself. So let your work be neat. And how do you achieve that? Is by pressing or ironing out your fabric anytime you're done sewing. It should be a habit. It's an essential technique that you should inculcate. All right. So apart from learning how to trade your machine, apart from cramming that or having it in mind or at the back of your mind that seam allowance is part of sewing or sewing allowance is part of sewing, you should be pressing or ironing out your fabrics. You should also have it in mind that hemming your clothes, folding it is also part of sewing. A lot of people, when they finish sewing, they don't hem it. But sewing has gotten easier. A lot of people, if they don't want to hem their clothes, all they will do is just to weave it, do a foreign weaving on it. Okay, so it depends. Well, let your work have a neat finishing. It's an essential technique. Now, don't forget, at the beginning of this video, we talked about preparation, and then we talked about machine mastery. And now we're talking about essential techniques that you should have in this sewing. Now, we're going to be talking about the common mistakes that people make in sewing. But before that, let me remind you that if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notification bell so every time I upload a video, you'll be notified. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend this video to every other person that is interested. Thank you so much for your 100% support to this channel. It's not going unnoticed. Thank you. Now back to what we're saying. We're talking about the fourth item that I've raised up. Don't forget I talked about preparation, number 1. I talked about machine mastery, number 2. I talked about essential techniques, number 3. And we're now talking about the common mistakes that people make in sewing. What are the common mistakes? What are the places your mind your mind is going to when I'm mentioning this common. I know that a lot of things are coming into your mind that could be the common mistakes that people are making. Now, one of the common mistake I can share with you is inconsistent tension. Maybe you are starting with a tighter tension, a machine tension, and then you will now adjust it on the same fabric, on the same clothes, probably even on the same straight line. You're just quickly adjusting the tension, and then you're making the thing to have closer stitches, bigger stitches, and all that. So that's a common mistake. So let your stitches be smooth. Okay, once you start with something, just try to finish up with it. Okay, now another thing is that another common mistake people make is incorrect needle size. When they want to fix their machine needle, they would not even know. Probably you bought a machine and your machine is using a needle of maybe 12 inches or maybe 10 inches, and then you will now go and start buying 18 inches suddenly. Please ensure that you put the right needle size. Okay, choose the right needle for your fabric. When you ought to change the needle, go ahead and change it, but whenever, consider your fabric, okay, before changing your needle, just like that. And there's a way that you will change your needle, you will even spoil the machine. So ensure that you put the right machine needle. Now, a lot of machines, they could vary. All right, a lot of machines, when you are sewing a thicker material, you might need a longer needle. Apart from that, please ensure that you get good guidance to the right needle you're supposed to use, so that so that you can avoid spoiling the machine. All right, so that is it. And then a lot of people, they don't lock their stitches, they don't um do this reverse stitching when they are sewing. That reverse stitching helps you to lock your stitches. So whenever you are sewing, ensure that you try to lock your stitches so that your cloth does not start from there to be losing. Okay, now the fourth mistake I'm going to be mentioning here is that insufficient pinning. A lot of people, when they are sewing, they don't put enough pins, and that pin, as a beginner, pins, what does pins do? Pins guide you. If you are folding, for instance, you want to hem a fabric, you hem it neatly, and probably you put a pin, and that pin will guide you on where to sew. Now you don't have enough pins, or you're not pinning rightly. You might even have enough, and then you are having so much gap before the next pin. You are also making the work difficult for yourself. So please put the right pin. Ensure that you pin your fabrics sufficiently enough. Pin your fabrics perfectly, so that it can guide you. Pins serve as a guide. Okay, it's even part of the accessories that you're supposed to have at the preparatory level. Don't forget that we mentioned preparatory as our first theme. Okay, so pin is something that any beginner should not do without. All right, now I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so I'm going to quickly run through some of the troubleshooting tips. Okay, in case you're passing through any of these challenges, you can check out these tips that I'm about to give to you for troubleshooting your machine. All right, now if you are experiencing that when you're sewing on a straight line and your thread keeps cutting, what should you do? Stop, check your needle, check your trade quality. If you go to the market to buy trade now, you'll see that there are a lot of different trade qualities. There are trades that are slimmer than some. Okay, so and some machines do not accept those bigger trades. So I have to tell you the truth. There are some machines that reject some kinds of quality of trades. So you have to check your trade quality, check your machine, sorry, please, your needle, okay, and check the trade tension or the tension of your machine, please. So in case you're experiencing that you're sewing on a straight line and your machine keeps, your stitches keeps cutting and cutting, all you have to do is to check out these tips that I've given to you now. If you're experiencing uneven seams, adjust your seaming allowance or your pressing. Okay, just in case you're also experiencing the fabric blocking. Shey you understand, when you are sewing and your machine is just, your fabric is just returning to you, you can adjust your tension or use interfacing. Please, if you don't understand anything that I'm saying here, kindly leave your question in the comment section. I would do well to answer you. Now, what do I mean by checking your adding a interfacing? Now, some fabrics, when you're sewing with your machine, they may some machines reject some fabric, to tell you the truth. So sometimes, to help yourself, what do? You add an interface. Now a lot of people even use masking tape to put around that machine, the machine foot, okay, and then it will help you to sew through any kind of fabric. So please try all these tips whenever you are having issues. But when the machine is giving you a problem bigger than you, please carry that machine and give to all these people that repair machines. Okay, let them look at it, let them fix it, seek for professional help. All right, so you don't just go and scatter the machine or send the machine back to factory reset. All right, if there's anything like that in machine. Okay, so these are few tips for troubleshooting your machine. Now, lastly, I would not forget to mention that this is the sixth point if you're actually counting. Now, I wouldn't forget to mention in any video that I'm making that practice makes perfect. That word practice makes perfect is a word used for people that are involved in craftsmanship, people that are involved in this kind of our work, whether you're into plumbing, whether you're into wiring, you're into painting. You will discover that as you go, you will discover that practice will make you perfect. So don't be discouraged. At the beginning, it might be difficult. You might be feeling stressed out and worn out, seated at the machine for a long time. It wears out, honestly, to be sincere with you. But when you practice it every day, maybe you can start with every day 30 minutes, every day 1 hour. Before you know it, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours. Honestly, before you know it, you can sit a whole day on the machine and you would not even feel any pain. You will not even feel any kind of dizziness. So practice makes perfect. Just as it comes with health, it comes with the materials, the clothes that you are sewing. Once you are practicing, if you couldn't cut a perfect U-neck before, tomorrow try it again. You will discover that you will do it better than what you did yesterday. So in everything that involves craftsmanship, practice makes perfect. Now, another tip that I want to tell you is that you should start with simple fabrics, simple projects, please. Start with the things that you can do first. Even if it's to sew ordinary bedsheet first or pillowcase, you can start with those ones. Start with simple projects before you move or graduate yourself to complex ones. Okay, and don't forget to experiment with different kinds of fabrics and try other techniques. That's why I'm always directing you to go online, watch tutorials. If you want to make, there are a lot of people that make all these simple tote bags. It's a very simple project. You can try it out. Even as a beginner, you can do that. Okay, when you start with simple projects, you by the time you're even ready for the complex ones, even yourself you would know. So join all these online classes and take classes. All right. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. Without further ado, I don't want this video to be long. Just like I had earlier said, I appreciate that you have watched up to this point, and don't forget to share this video to your children, your friends, your family, people around you, so that people that can pick tips that could help them will quickly pick. So thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye. But if you do have any question, please kindly leave it in the comment section. Bye.